Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something very exciting for me at least, and as you saw from the title of the video, that is going to be picking out my TBR based on prompt cards. So we're going to see how this goes. If you don't know, I am a mood reader, and basically what that means is I am super indecisive and never know what I'm going to read, and let my mood that second of the day determine what I'm going to read. So it's not the best strategy if you want to set a TBR and you want to be able to actually pick the books you're going to get to, because it changes every second of the day what I'm in the mood to read. And sometimes while I'm reading a book, my mood changes and I'm no longer in the mood for it, and it makes finishing books really hard as well. It's not my favorite thing, but we have to deal with it somehow. Because setting a TBR is so hard, I wanted to try and figure out if there was a creative way for me to get around that. And a couple of months ago, in an Illumicrate box, I got these really cool reading prompt cards, and I thought this would be a great way to set a TBR because it'll give me a prompt, and then I still have the ability to choose a book based on that prompt. The TBR is still, it just made it seem more doable. I don't know, it's still picking a TBR, it's still hoping I'm in the mood for that book. But the beauty of it is there's a lot to choose from. And now that my books are organized by genre, it's definitely making it a lot easier for me, because they used to just be whatever I thought was pretty, which was beautiful, but not maintainable. So these are the cards that I got from Illumicrate. First of all, they're stunning. There's so many beautiful colors, and the backs are gorgeous as well. They're just beautiful cards. And the whole point of the cards is that every single card has a prompt, and that is supposed to inspire you to be able to pick a book. So for instance, a book inspired by mythology, a book set in winter, a book with a one-word title. So my thought for today's video, to be a little bit creative and to just see what comes up, I'm going to draw 4 cards and select 4 books that I want to get to, and that is going to be my TBR for March. And I thought it might be kind of fun as well to, whatever card I draw, see if you guys want to participate, and maybe you want to set a TBR of your own for all 4 cards, or maybe you want to pick one card and set a book for your TBR, or maybe you want to set one of the books I choose on your TBR. I would love to see what you guys think in the comments or what you decide to do, but I think it would be a lot of fun to make it interactive that way. My ultimate plan is that at the conclusion of reading all of these books, I will then come back and tell you my ratings of the books, and you'll have to stay tuned to see what I thought of the books next month. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what we get. This is so nerve-wracking because there's so many possibilities. First card we have, a science fiction book. Okay, I can do that. My shelf is right over there actually, so this will be interesting. Nearly dropped that. Next card. Your prettiest Illumicrate book. That's a good one because there are so many pretty Illumicrate books, and now I'm gonna have to go dig through and figure out which books are Illumicrate books because I don't know off the top of my head, but it'll still be exciting. The next card. A book you never finished. That should be interesting. And finally, a book recommended by everyone you know. That'll be a fun one. I'm gonna have to stare at my shelves for a little bit, but I get recommended books all the time, so I'm sure there will be plenty that I can come up with. So those are my 4 cards for my TBR for March, and now I'm going to go find a book that I think associates with this card, and I will be back to tell you what I picked. What have I never finished? I mean, I haven't started a lot, but what have I never finished? That is the question. I wish it said book series you never finished, because there's plenty of those. Science fiction, science fiction. Well, Zach told me I should read that one, so maybe I should actually do it. I've now officially picked the books that are going to be on my March TBR. Hopefully I can stick to them. Hopefully I can at least get through most of them. No, I really want to get through all of them, and then I can tell you what I thought, and we can see how this little TBR card thing goes. So let's begin. A book recommended by everyone you know, and this one is actually something that a lot of people do recommend to me. I have not picked it up. I've wanted to pick it up, so what better time than now? And that is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. These Violent Delights has been on my list for a long time. I've actually met Chloe Gong. She's so incredibly nice and funny and just really, really cool to listen to. She's exceptionally smart, and last time I met her with my friends, I was listening to her talk about her books and I was like, I gotta get on that. But this is a book a lot of people recommend to me because I talk all the time about how I love retellings, and I know I'm gonna love this. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but these Violent Delights, let me read you the blurb. This is my signed copy. Totally forgot. For Danielle, the stars incline us, they do not bind us. Chloe. Love. Okay. So, the plot of this book. The year is 1926 and Shanghai hums to the tune of debauchery. A blood feud between two gangs runs the streets red, numbing the city to its chaos. At the heart of its 18-year-old Juliet Kai, a former flapper girl who has returned to begin her duties as the proud heir of the Scarlet Gang, a network of criminals far above the law. Their only rivals in power are the White Flowers, who have fought the Scarlets for generations. And behind every move is their heir, Roma Montague, who was Juliet's first love until he betrayed her. But when gangsters on both sides start clawing their own throats out, the people start to whisper of a contagion, a madness of a monster in the shadows. As the deaths stack up, Juliet and Roma must set their guns aside and work together, no matter their personal grudges. For if they cannot contain this mayhem, then there will be no city left for either to rule. In this spectacular reimagining of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, debut author Chloe Gong brings readers on a heart-stopping journey of violence, passion, and star-crossed fates. This is something that so many people recommend to me. It's been on my list for way too long, and it is time.
It is time.
You know that it is time. Okay. The next card we got is a science fiction book, and this is also another one that's been recommended to me a ton, specifically by my best friend Zach, and I'm definitely in the mood for this type of book, so it worked out. There were a couple on the shelf that I was really leaning towards, but this is absolutely the winner, and that is Contagion by Erin Bowman. And the cover says, "Help is light years away." This cover is stunning, first of all. I did find it at a secondhand bookstore. I do not know how much I spent on it because I took the sticker off, but I'm very excited to get to this, and it sounds so good. Let me read you, I was like, what is on the back? It is reviews. Let me read you the synopsis so you can get excited as well. It got in us. After receiving an urgent SOS from a work detail on a distant planet, a skeleton crew is dispatched to perform a standard search and rescue mission. Most are dead, but when the crew arrives, they find an abandoned site littered with rotten food, discarded weapons, and dead bodies. Don't set foot here again. As they try to piece together who or what could have decimated an entire operation, they realize that some things are best left buried and some monsters are only too ready to awaken. This book just sounds absolutely perfect for the mood that I am in right now, and it's been on my list for way too long. I believe it's a series. I don't know how many books are in it, if it's a trilogy or a series, but I've been dying to get to this. This is a perfect excuse to get to it. My best friend is going to be stoked when he finds out that I'm reading it next month. So, Contagion by Erin Bowman. The next book that I grabbed, this one was a hard choice. The card was Your Prettiest Illumicrate Book, and I'm telling you, I have so many pretty Illumicrate books that it was actually just really difficult to pick, but I decided to pick both on what I thought was exceptionally beautiful and also on what was high on my TBR. So the book is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This cover is stunning. The edges are stunning. Look at the back. The back says, "The forest is dangerous for a luminary untrained." And then the best part of this book, I mean, the end pages are also to die for, but look at this. It is stunning. It says Nightmare Compendium, and the back says The Comprehensive Guide to Hemlock Falls Nightmares. It's to die for. So it's been high on my list. I love Susan Dennard. I loved Susan Dennard's Witchland series. If you haven't heard of it or if you haven't read it, I highly recommend to check it out because it'll grip you in a way that a lot of stories won't. It's so well written. The plot is insane and so new and a breath of fresh air, but it's told in such an open world that it feels like you are reading a open world MMO video game. It's so cool. The magic system is so cool. I love the Witchland series. Highly recommend that. But anyway, the Luminaries. Hemlock Falls isn't like other towns. You won't find it on a map. Your phone won't work here. And the forest outside town might just kill you. Winnie Wednesday wants nothing more than to join the Luminaries, the ancient order that protects Winnie's town and the rest of humanity from the monsters and nightmares that rise in the forest of Hemlock Falls every night. Ever since her father was exposed as a witch and a traitor, Winnie and her family have been shunned. But on her 16th birthday, she can take the deadly Luminary Hunter trials and prove herself true and loyal and restore her family's good name, or die trying. But in order to survive, Winnie must enlist the help of the one person who can train her, Jay Friday, resident bad boy and Winnie's ex-best friend. While Jay might be the most promising new hunter in Hemlock Falls, he also seems to know more about the nightmares of the forest than he should. Together, he and Winnie will discover a danger lurking in the forest no one in Hemlock Falls is prepared for. Not all monsters can be slain, and not all nightmares are confined to the dark. There seems to be a theme with the books that I have chosen, and they are all very dark and spooky, so that's exciting. The last book is not spooky. The last book is for the card prompt, A Book You Never Finish. I do feel bad about this one. I actually started it and left a bookmark in it, and then eventually took the bookmark out because I wasn't going to continue reading it, which now seems pretty bad. But maybe this time I can finish. Maybe I won't DNF this one. The book is Kind of a Big Deal by Shannon Hale. This one was absolutely something I was interested in because the cover was stunning, but also the plot just sounded very interesting to me. So I got bored and I didn't finish it. And I'm hoping maybe it was just because I wasn't in the mood for it and not because I didn't resonate or like the story. Resonate with or like the story? I'm hoping it was because I just didn't resonate with or like the story. But let me tell you what this one's about and see how we do the second time around. There's nothing worse than peaking in high school. Nobody knows that better than Josie Pye. She used to be kind of a big deal. She dropped out of high school to be a theater star, but the bigger you are, the harder you fall, and Josie fell hard. Meanwhile, her life imploded. Best friend? Distant. Boyfriend? Busy. Mom? Not playing with a full deck. Desperate to escape, Josie gets into reading. Literally. She reads a book and suddenly she's inside it. And with each story, she's a different character. A post-apocalyptic heroine, the lead in a YA rom-com, a 17th century wench in a corset. It's alarming, but also kind of amazing. Book after book, Josie, the failed star, finds new ways to shine, but the longer she stays in a story, the harder it becomes to leave. Will Josie find a story so good that she just stays forever? It sounded really good. I'm somebody who obviously likes to read, but I love Broadway. I took acting classes when I was younger. I always loved that as well, and it just sounded like a lot of things I really liked and resonated with. I mean, as I've gotten older, I definitely fall into reading quite a bit and use it as such a form of escapism that I typically just really am escaping from the world at this point, as most of us are. But I thought it sounded really good, and I don't remember how far I got. I did not get very far, and all of a sudden I just stopped reading and never went back, and I want to give it a better chance, another chance. I'm hoping, as I said, that it was just because I was in a slump or because I wasn't in the mood for the book at the time that I picked it up, but we shall see. She's a beautiful book, and I'm just hoping I like it. So these are the 4 books that I decided to pick out for the cards that I drew. I'm very excited to get to them. I'm very excited to see how this goes. This is the first time I'm attempting something like this. I have not done a TBR video on my channel in a while, and I have not done a TBR in a while. But I think it's perfect, and I think it's a perfect time to do it as well, because my overarching goal for the entire year is to get through as much of my physical TBR as I possibly can, because my physical TBR is overwhelming at this point. I'm not complaining because I'm obsessed with books, obviously, and I love being surrounded by them, but I really want to go through the books that I've gotten, give them a shot, try and read as many as I physically can, and start to try and refine my shelves in a way that makes sense to me. And that is that I want to focus less on having a large quantity of books and having a large, vast library and more so on having a curated library that is very tailored to my taste and very reminiscent of my taste, so that when you walk into my book room, you see all of the books on the shelf are all of the books that I love and all of the types of books that I love. And yes, there will be some peppered in from subscription boxes that I get or different things like that, but I really, now that I have grown quite a bit on my reading journey and been here for a while, I do want to read vastly and I still want to experience a large quantity of books, and I still will. I'm going to find other ways to do that, such as checking out books from the library like I tend to do already, my audio subscriptions like Scribd or Audible. I want to get to a point where I am reading books from the library, and then if I like them, I'll buy them for my collection, unless it's something that I already know I'm probably going to like based on my general taste. This is going to be super helpful, especially the one book that we got to read that you never finished, because like I said, I want to make my way through my physical TBR, and if I read this book and I don't like it, then I'm going to pass it along to somebody else who will. If that means donating to my library like I typically do, if that means giving it away on my channel, like whatever that looks like, I want to make sure that the books that are on my shelves are books that I actually like or want to read. So hopefully this will help me get through my physical TBR. I'm a little nervous about it because, like I said, I have not committed to a TBR in a while. But you know what? Here we are. And I believe I don't. But we're gonna see how it goes. But that is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed. I'm very curious as to if you guys will add any of these to your TBR, if there's any that stood out to you that sound interesting that you're gonna add to your TBR, or if any of the prompt cards I drew sounded interesting to you, and if you want to pick one or a couple or all of them and pick your own TBR. I would love to see what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to see your TBRs, and you know, we're gonna go through this together. But expect an update video on my progress with these. They may be appearing in some reading vlogs coming up, but I will definitely be doing a sit-down video where I go through this list and tell you what I thought of all of these books, and I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!